Hey, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I know you can't see me right now, but we're going to try to rectify that. In the middle of starting this, my computer, my crazy Mac, decided to reboot itself. So we are going to make a great fun fold today. I love this fun fold. It is a combination of two fun folds. It's an accordion fold and it is also a Z-fold. So we are going to make this, and we're going to be using the sophisticated sled bundle. And with that, let's see if you should be able to see me now. All right. Let's go back to that. So, hi, Renee. Thank you for joining. This is just crazy. We're getting ready to go live, and the computer rebooted and updated itself. So, sorry for the few-minute delay, but we are going to make a great fun fold. I'm calling it an Accordion Z-Fold card. Hi, Florence, and thank you for joining. It's a combination of an accordion fold, Z-fold. I love this card because it is so easy to do, and it is really very pretty. In fact, let me show you the card design, and I'm actually going to show you how to do this two different ways. I'm going to do it one way, and then I'm going to show you a second way of how it can be done. So I'm going to flip this down, and we're going to start. So this is my Accordion Z-Fold card. And if you stand it up, it displays really, really pretty. I am using the sophisticated sled bundle. I wanted to use the little wreath. And I'm using some paper from the Sentimental Christmas. Let me show you that really quick because this is so pretty. Some really traditional Christmas colors and papers. This one we've used one a couple weeks ago in another fun fold. And here we have snowflakes. Then we have some candy canes. And if you flip these all over, you have some more really beautiful patterns, trees, stripes, which we're using today, some candles, and these cute little deer. So these are the papers we're going to be using. So we are going to start off with a real red card base. Now, please don't worry about measurements. I do have a downloadable PDF for you with measurements, supplies, instructions that will be available to you by the end of the day tomorrow. So let's start with our card base. We have two of them. One is 11 by 5.5, and then we have a 3 by 6. So this 11 by 5.5 is scored every 1 3/4 inch. So this is scored at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. To fold this, we're going to start at the 7-inch line, and I'm going to turn this over. We're going to fold a valley, and I'm going to burnish as I go along with my bone folder. The next fold, we're just going to fold back and fold a hill. Next, we're going to fold another valley. And then the last fold, or what was the first, the 1 3/4 inch, we're going to fold the mountain. All right, so here is the basis or base for our card. This one, we're going to fold, this is scored, it's 3 by 6, scored at 3, and we're just going to fold it in half. And I'm going to go ahead and do that while I have my bone folder out so that we're ready to go. All right. Now, to decorate this, I chose to use the papers that I just showed you. We're going to use the stripes, the real red stripes. These are 1.5 inches by 5 1/4. And we're just going to go ahead and add one to each of these 1 3/4 inch folds. So let me go ahead and do that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you found me. And if you're with me live, thank you so much for being here with me. I love being with all of you and sharing, hopefully, some inspiration for your card making. And if you are catching this on the replay, thank you so much for taking time to come back and watch it. So let's add some of this. And you know, this week, the new online exclusives went live on Tuesday. And I've been kind of playing with them and showing you some of them over the last couple weeks. So if you can, take a look at those. All right, we're going to just keep adding. We have one more to go. And that looks pretty good. All right. Hi, Becky. Thank you for joining. All right. So this is our last one for the pieces. All right. Now, for the inside of this, we are going to add a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So with this, I want to stamp a greeting. So I have chosen, I'm using 3 of the greetings from the Sophisticated Sled Bundle, or 3 sentiments. I'm going to use Good Tidings for my greeting on the front. And then let's decorate the season with happiness. And I hope your days are filled with fun and laughter for the inside. So let's go ahead and we're going to stamp that. And because this is a photopolymer stamp, I am going to grab my piercing mat. I just tend to stamp a little better with it. And we'll add that. Let's hope this stamp's okay, because I got a lot of ink on there. I think I'm going to wipe that off and re-ink it. So let me grab my cloth. Okay. And we're going to re-ink. So for the inside, we're going to use a piece of Designer Series paper to add to the edge of this. So let's go ahead and stamp this. All right, and then for my edge, we're going to add a piece of Designer Series paper that we're going to use on that Z-fold, and we're going to add it to a strip of real red. So let's go ahead and do that. And then our inside will be done, and we'll move on to do our Z-fold. Now for the Z-fold, I am going to incorporate a die cut of that wreath. So I want to show you a few kind of tips for coloring that wreath, and I have stamped it already. And we're going to go ahead and finish it up so I can show you those tips. So let's add this to our inside. And then we have this portion done. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to use the wreath from the stamp set that we're using. And this wreath, it isn't really an actual outline, so you don't want to use your Tuxedo Black Memento ink on this, because if you do, your leaves are going to be black. And there are very few areas, there's areas to color, but there are solid areas. So I really wanted to pick up these multicolored greens that you see in the designer series paper. And I tried a couple different ways. I even tried inking with garden green because it's garden green and shaded spruce in that paper. And I tried inking off, and it really wasn't dark enough. It really looked washed out, kind of like it was anemic. So I'm stamping with garden green, and we're going to color. Now, I went ahead and I've stamped this, and I've colored part of it already so that you wouldn't have to watch me color all of it. But what I'm using to color my wreath is I'm using the shaded spruce Stampin' Blends for some of the leaves. I'm using the real red, the dark real red for the berries. And I pulled out 2 colored pencils. Now, if you have colored pencils, you'll be able to do this. If you don't, just color them with your Stampin' Blends. It's going to look beautiful either way. So I'm going to just pick this up a little bit to show you the different colors. And what I'm going to do is start with my dark shaded spruce. And we're going to work on these larger leaves right here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of dark to the bottom portion of the leaves, because then I'm going to use my light shaded spruce to blend it. So let's go in with this. Well, look at that. That's happened to me before. Okay, so when that happens, just pop that cartridge back in and hang on to it here. And then try to gently pull that off. That's crazy. But we may have to alter what we're going to use. Let's see here. I'm going to try. Well, I will be darned, I can't get that off. Let's grab, that's not even going to look good. So let's grab the wide tip. Let's use that. And hopefully I can stay in the line. So I'm going to use this to just blend. So we're just going to pull that color through on these larger leaves. And I'll hold that up for you in a minute. And I do try to color them a little quicker than I got to it now so that it doesn't dry completely and blends nicely. But it's going to be fine. So let's do that. Okay, so you can see those leaves and the blended color. Now I want to color these leaves, and these leaves really reminded me of like a ginkgo leaf. And I'm using just 2 colored pencils, and just whatever colored pencils you have. And I'm going to start with the darker one, and I'm going to just come in and shade in the lower portion of the leaf, just like I did with my Stampin' Blends. But this is going to give us just a total different look of color. It's going to lighten it up a little bit. So I'm just going to go around and blend those 2 colors together. And I'm using just colored pencils that I had in the house. Okay. All right, so those are blended. And now let's add our berries. So I'm going to take my real red and just color those in. Now, I don't want all that darkness to those leaves. I want to lighten them up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take a white colored pencil, and I'm simply going to go in from the bottom and come up lightly on the side to try to lighten the color, and it almost produces, and I'll pick this up for you, like a shading. almost like a little bit of a frosted look. And I really love the way it looks. Let me pick that up for you, and hopefully you can see that little bit of white over those dark leaves, just to kind of mute the color a little bit. So now we're going to die cut this, because we're going to use this on the front of our card. So I have my die from this, and sometimes dies can be hard to match up. I typically look for something that sticks out to me, and like a leaf, and then see if that's going to match, and it does. And that just helps me with placement. I just try to find something that kind of sets it apart from everything else. Now I'm going to pull in my mini cut and emboss, and we're going to go ahead and just cut this wreath out so we can finish it up on our card. Renee says she's had that happen to her a few times. I have too, Renee, and usually if I pop them in and then just hang on to it where I popped it back in, I can usually get the lid off. But this one, I'm probably wearing more of it than is left in the marker. All right, so here's our die cut. Really pretty. And we're ready now to work on our little Z-fold. Now, the Z-fold for this has 2 pieces if you choose to use 2. I want to use a piece of designer paper, and I'm going to put this on the back of my card, little card. So I'm going to add it with some glue. And if you have a pattern paper, you want to make sure that you have it going in the right direction when you put this on. Now for the front, I took a piece of 2 3/4, which is also this 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I ran it through the timber embossing folder. I wanted to just give it a little bit of texture. And this is going to be on the front portion. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue. And we're going to add that right here. Now for our card, we're going to fold this up, and this is going to attach. The front portion is going to attach to this front fold. And this back portion is going to attach to the last fold so that it's attaching like that. The easiest way to do this that I found is to close these accordions up like this. And I'm going to add just some glue right along the edge, just about 1/2 inch or so. Okay. Then I'm going to come in here, and you want this to be centered. So that looks pretty good. And I don't want it all the way back. This is going to actually come in like this. So you're going to come in, slide it under that last fold and on top of the top fold, and give it a good press. And here is your Z-fold. So really easy to do. Now to decorate it, we're going to use our wreath that we just die cut and colored. So I'm going to pop some dimensionals up on this, and then we will add it to the front there, and then we're going to add a little greeting. So let's take these off, and stay with me because I want to show you the second one. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I'm going to put this right, maybe right about like that, right in the center. Okay. Now, I did stamp a sentiment for this. I stamped the good tidings from the stamp set. And I want to tuck this in under my wreath enough that I can still see the good tidings, but I want to trim this off. So I'm going to trim right about here, since I kind of placed it and looked where it would be. And let's check that again. That's going to look good. And we're going to use some mini dimensionals for this, because I want this to is going to have to pop up, because the back end of this is actually going to sit on the wreath. So I'm going to use some minis because this is such a thin piece. And we're going to put that there. And then I'm going to grab my glue dots and I'm going to put one on the end of this sentiment. I have green all over my hands. Okay, so let's take these off. All right. And we're going to slide this in right under here with that mini glue dot. There we go. Maybe take a little bit of this off. Let's trim a little bit of this off, because with the dimensional on it, it doesn't want to slide in there that easily. All right, that'll work. And now we're able to adhere this to our wreath. I also did a bow. This is ribbon that I had. I have to admit, it's not current ribbon, but it just went so well with this card. I couldn't help myself, so we're going to use it. And I just made a small bow for this, and we're going to put this right up here at the top. All right. Now I want to add a little bit of embellishments. So I thought with the paper that these red and white peppermints looked pretty cute with it. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to take a small one and I'm going to add them to my wreath, 2 of them. Let's add another one, maybe over here. And then I'm going to take a larger one and let's add that right down here. So when you open up your card, you now have this. I wanted to add a sentiment to this, so I stamped that "Let's decorate the season with happiness." And I also took a scrap of real red, and I'm going to just adhere it partially, just along the top and the one side. And we're going to trim that off. So let's just give it a little bit of a border there. Straighten that out. Okay. And then I'm simply going to cut right at the edge. And we're going to pop this on with a couple large dimensionals. And then our card is done, and we'll take a look at the next card. Hi, Lydia. Thank you for joining. So with this, I'm just going to hold on to it and put my hand in there and adhere it. And here is our Accordion Z-Fold card. So there it is standing. And if you open it up, you have this, I think, really great fun fold. Now, I did do an envelope for this, and I'm trying to see where I put it. I took just 2 strips of designer series paper like I did here, and I added them to the bottom front of the envelope where the address is going to go. So that's another way you can do your envelopes to dress them up. Now let me show you the second card, because remember I said you could do this two ways. The card is done, exact same measurements as everything we did for that card. But this time, instead of using my card base, the 5.5 by 11, this horizontally, I flipped it vertically and did the exact same thing. And when you stand it up, you can stand it up just like this, or you can turn it around and you'll see that's upside down. So you don't want to turn it around. But if you want to display it, this is another way you can do it. So you have two cards using the exact same measurements, being able to be made either landscape or portrait. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had really a lot of fun making these cards, and I was really excited to share them with you. If you liked today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share the videos. I will have the link to the downloadable PDF for you right down below in the YouTube video description during sometime tomorrow by the end of the day. May even be there later tonight, so that you can download it. I hope you'll give it a try. If you do, feel free to post it on my Facebook page. We'd love to see what you make. I truly think if we share our creativity, it inspires others. I hope you have a great evening. I'll be back with you tomorrow at 2:00 for week 7, I believe it is, of our 12 weeks of Christmas. And I hope to see you there. Have a great evening, everybody. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you soon.